Is it Erem in Houston?
Yeah.
Thanks for waiting. You are the final caller for this special episode with myself and No Illusions. Have at it.
Yeah, I need to thank for keeping me for the last, actually, because I don't feel pressure for anybody.
Cool.
So let me ask first question, then we can elaborate maybe a little bit. You guys talk lots of religion-related conflicts, but I didn't hear. Actually, I discovered you guys recently. I can say 4 or 5 months ago, but I didn't hear much about what do you think about deism or agnosticism.
Oh, deism and agnosticism.
Yeah.
So I think you'll get slightly different answers on agnosticism from me and Matt. So let me just start with deism. I don't see that deism solves anything. I feel like you're basically at a certain point just adding a layer for the sake of adding a layer. It doesn't give you any more explanatory power or anything like that. So I feel like deism just fails Occam's razor. Agnosticism is a bit different. I mean, I feel like we're all agnostic to a certain degree, right?
Yep.
So whether you're an atheist or a theist, I guess there are some theists that would tell you they have zero doubt, and that's probably not quite true. But I think we're all on some level in the agnosticism spectrum, right?
I agree, despite Noah's expectation that I wouldn't.
Oh, okay. Well, we could get deeper into it and find a disagreement.
I'm fine, you know, depending on your definition of knowledge. I'm either a Gnostic atheist or an agnostic atheist, and I know that Gnostic atheist doesn't make sense, so I'm probably not that. But on the deism thing, I'm in agreement with Noah, but I go a step further, and that is, so deism is the notion that there is a God, perhaps as a first causal action, but basically the thing is, deism is a belief that there's a God that does not interact with reality in any way. And that, to me, is the very definition of absurdity, because you are claiming that you can have a rationally justified belief in something that does not interact with the world in any detectable way. That is an absolute failure of skepticism, and quite frankly, it's often, from my view, proposed as oh, I don't want to say there is no God, or I don't want to be in a position where I'm saying, hey, I don't believe there is a God, so I'll just go with this God that we can say nothing about. We can confirm no property of a deistic God. And if there's something for which you can confirm no properties, why would you ever believe it?
Yeah, an ingredient-less sandwich is not a sandwich.
Yes. Hey, this sandwich doesn't have bread, doesn't have cheese, it doesn't have mustard. What does it have? I don't know. We can't tell anything about this sandwich. Then how do you know there's a sandwich?
But I think there is a kind of initial perception on that definition, which is you are taking the God definitions which we were taught.
No, I literally just described deism as belief in a God that doesn't interact with reality. I'm not taking a definition of God that I was told. That's what deism is.
Okay. Okay. What if I say something sparkled the, let's say, Big Bang, and then
I would say, how do you know that, and how do you know what it is, and why would you call it God?
I'm telling, so the first explanation from Noah was that deism doesn't explain anything. So I'm telling that it explains the starting, and then
no, it doesn't.
He is on vacation.
It's not an explanation.
On vacation since then. No, I mean.
It's not an explanation. It is by definition an unfalsifiable, untestable assertion.
Exactly. I understand your point.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Stop for just 1 second. If I ask my mom why I should do something, and she says, because I said so, that is not an explanation. It has not edified me. It has not given me any understanding at all. It is just an assertion.
Yeah, I'm just coming. Previous calls, there was a discussion about there is no clarification what caused the Big Bang, and they were, and you guys were talking about. So we don't know, and since we don't know, we cannot say something sparkle that.
Correct.
Well, right.
And that's why deism is ridiculous.
Well, and here's the problem. It's not just ridiculous. It's also problematic because it may not be that it's always the case that we can't explain this, right? As we understand it now, we can't explain it. But if you call it God, if you start giving it any type of name, if you assert what you're asserting here, that God sparked the Big Bang and then went off and hang out in celestial Acapulco for the rest of his life, what you've done is you've closed off a line of inquiry without actually answering the question.
Yep. And the follow-up question is, how do you know that God sparked it and then pissed off to vacation land? Mm-hmm. You don't. And so you're claiming to know something that you simultaneously acknowledge you can't know, and that is the definition of irrational, or is definitionally irrational.
Yeah, I mean, I know that is the definition of irrational is this is, but there is also, let me come from the background. So I was born in Turkey. I was born in Turkey, and I grown up in Turkey.
Erem,
and
Erem,
yeah.
Your background, as much as I'd like to talk about it another time, is irrelevant to this. Do you know what I had for lunch?
I know, no idea.
Wouldn't it be silly for you to acknowledge that you don't know what I had for lunch, and then just say, "But I know you had something for lunch"? Wouldn't that be kind of silly? Yeah, that's what deists are doing. And by the way, I had nothing for lunch.